Telefonica Dakar 2004 started from Clermont-Ferrand in the centre of France. And once again the big hitters were entered. Reigning champions Mitsubishi. Nissan had 4 cars, including the scoop signing of Colin McRae with Ari Vatanen. VW had their brand new Touareg Dakar. And BMW had 2 diesel X5s. Whilst two-time winner Jean-Louis Schlesser had a 4-litre V6 in his 2 buggies. KTM were the only bike manufacturer that was going to be in a chance of winning, but which one of 13 riders was going to get the trophy? Starting January 1st, the crews had 3 stages to complete in Europe as they made their way down to the Straits of Gibraltar. And amazingly, freezing temperatures were on the first stage when snow appeared from the very start of the Dakar. It was a short stage in Clermont-Ferrand, but it was very much like a Christmas card. Mud was the next day at Narbonne. Indeed, so much so that a car got stuck mid-stage, forcing the whole stage to be put on hold. And even when they tried to move the stuck car, the bulldozer got stuck. De Villiers rolled in the stage, ripping the co-driver's door off. Amazingly, he only lost a handful of seconds. Teammate Lube didn't even make the second stage. Drama for the Nissan driver. He said there was an electrical fire. Teammate Ari Vatanen stopped to try and help with his extinguisher, but the fire just got bigger and bigger. There was nothing we could do. Come the end of the European stages, though, Belgium's Gregoire de Mavius was 3rd overall in his BMW X5. Jose Maria Servia was 2nd in his Schlesser buggy. But Stefan Pederhansel led overall in his Mitsubishi Pajero Evo 2. On 2 wheels, Italy's Giovanni Sala was 3rd overall with the Gauloise KTM. Frenchman Cyril Desprez was 2nd with a similar single-cylindered KTM machine. But the brand new 2-wheel drive Yamaha of David Fretenier was leading overall on his first Dakar. Gerard Deroy headed the truck class in the family DAF Monster. Into Africa, 3 stages in Morocco, through Mauritania for 2 stages in Mali. Then there was 1 stage to be had in Burkina Faso before the rest day. Back to Mauritania to total 7 stages there, and into Senegal for the finish. Nearly 7,000 miles got underway in Africa with a stage from Tangier to Erashidia. And it was drama right from the start because reigning champion Richard Sanct of France had a crash at over 65 miles an hour, the KTM bike slithering down the road, but the champion bravely getting back on his machine, but he was injured and he was going to lose time on the stage. The victor of the stage, though, it was rather a surprise. Out of Spain with the Repsol KTM number 19, Isidre Esteve Puyol somehow forded this crossing. Second overall was Italy's Fabrizio Mioni on the big heavyweight 950 twin. Finland's Ari Vatanen won the stage on 4 wheels, and amazingly he clocked up his 50th Dakar stage victory. Not without effort to get past another driver. The 4-time winner sped through the stage to prove that you are only as old as the stopwatch says. Pederhansel still led overall with his Evolution Pajero from his teammate Mickey Biassion. Stage 5 of Dakar 2004, from Erishidia down to Ouarzazate. Richard Sank was hurting from his fall the previous day and was apprehensive before the stage.
Hier soir, ils m'ont fait 8 points.
He said, last night I had 8 stitches in my arm and it hurts a great deal. We'll see if today is going to be a deciding day for me in this rally.
Un peu juge de paix, quoi. On va voir comment ça se passe, quoi.
He somehow soldiered on over the very tricky Moroccan stage miles and he got to the finish safely. But the man who was fastest on the stage once more, out of Spain, Isidre Esteve Puyol. First on the stage, continuing to lead by just over 36 seconds. Nani Roma was second on the stage, behind his older teammate, but he was fourth overall, just 4 minutes off the pace. Mioni, third on the stage, but second overall for the former victor. He was poised nicely to leap towards the front. It was easier going for the pros at the front of the field, but what about the amateurs? This is Shinji Sano out of Japan, stuck in the sand. He was not the only one.
Yeah, it's good.
Stage 5 for the cars saw Stefan Petterhansel at the 4 on the stage and in the overall standings with an advantage of over 6 minutes. But at the end of the stage he had chronic gearbox problems and he and co-driver Jean-Paul Cottret had to push 2 tons of car through the control. For Petterhansel it was almost too much. He got a 5-minute penalty added to his overall time. Vatanen had chronic problems with the car's air inflation-deflation system, leaving 3 tyres to literally go pop. He dropped to 20th on the stage and 16th overall. McRae got lost for the first time but was 8th, whilst De Villiers was the best of the rest, right up behind the Mitsubishis in the top 5. The BMW of Gregoire de Mavius was stealthily doing the best job of the chasing pack, behind the Petterhansel-Masuoka duo. Schlesser wrote off his prototype V8 in testing before the event, but managed to get the 4-litre V6 into last year's car. He was 6th. Baja 1000 specialist Mark Miller couldn't quite get to the top of the dune, but there was a reason.
Tire inflation system is not working, so there's no way for us to know that the tire pressure wasn't down, so we're going to lose 10 minutes, 15 maybe. It's stupid.
Others were getting hot under the collar and hot under the bonnet. This is Pierre Lartigue needing an extinguisher. Stage 6 from Ouarzazate down to Tantan, another monstrous stage. But it was massive problems in the water for the 2001 Dakar champion Jutta Kleinschmidt in the brand new Volkswagen Touareg, going through this water crossing that didn't look deep but was. Water pouring out of the doors, but problems because the water had gone in to the diesel engine. Kleinschmidt knew it once she got out of the car, her Dakar slipping through her hands.
I think we get water in the engine, so we have to see what it looks like, you know.
Vatanen was next up. The water was just too deep. He came to a grinding halt, and turning over the engine without the plugs in, there was rather a fundamental problem. He soon, though, jumps over to another Nissan teammate to say that he's okay, and for him to continue. Vatanen lost nearly 3 hours, Kleinschmidt over 10. De Villiers and McRae had trouble with the bolts holding the rear wing on. They went west as the wings stayed in the desert. Frenchman Stéphane Perehansel punctured. He lost a little time changing the tyre, but he also lost the lead. But at least it was only to his teammate, Hiroshi Mashioka. Luc Alphond was 5th and just behind his teammate, Damavius. Miki Biasion with the Mitsubishi had a bigger problem. He says, I was following in the dust of somebody. There was this hole and the car kicked up and just went end over end over end. Miki Biasion out of the Dakar. Hungarian Laszlo Palik rolled it 5 times. It was a biggie. Giovanni Sala crashed too. He broke 3 ribs. The tough Italian was out of the Dakar. In the helicopter and returning to the bivouac. The Italian said, I'm very sad because I really wanted to get a good position in Dakar, but I've got to go back to Italy now. Maybe I'll go skiing. See you next year. Andy Caldicott out of Keith in South Australia clinched 3rd on the stage in his first ever Dakar. He was a brilliant 6th in the overall standings. But Spaniard Isidre Esteve Puyol continued to lead the bikes. Nani Roma, his teammate, leapt up to 2nd overall, just 2 minutes back. Roma saying the first 50 or 60 kilometers today I did slowly because there was a lot of dust, but once we got into the sand I attacked. I'm now happy to get out of Morocco as it's been difficult for me. Further back, the rookies were having trouble with the water crossing, and they were having just as much trouble as the cars were having. Just imagine trying to navigate a near 200-kilogram motorcycle through the conditions. And no sooner had they got to the bivouac than they had to prepare quickly for the next stage, which started just after midnight that same night. It was going to be a long night's ride. Stage 7 of the Dakar 2004 from Tantan into Attar. It was going to be a day of nearly 1,000 kilometres, and Andy Caldicott, the hero from the day before, was in trouble.
I have broken my ankle. Do I keep going or... Pardon me? Do I have to keep going or what do I do?
Caldicott did get to the end of the stage, but didn't go any further. What a shame for the Australian. Big trouble also for Fabrizio Mioni. He had a puncture after going too fast on the very fast section at the start of the stage. He lost nearly 2 hours. He says the only good news today is that some people have stopped to help me here in the stage.
Per cercare di togliermi dai pasticci. Questo è bello, è l'unica, diciamo, nota positiva oggi.
The leader, Esteve Puyol, had an off and lost his overall lead, and then later his engine blew. That meant that faller on day 4, Richard Sankt, now was 3rd overall with those 8 stitches in his arm. He won the stage. Teammate Cyril Desprez led overall though by just over 3 minutes. But Spain's Nani Roma was right up behind him and ready to head from the front in case Sankt faltered. Now the rally was getting into Mauritania, the speeds were getting higher. It was Harry Flatters for all of the cars. South Africa's Haniel de Villiers ran into problems. The wheel studs had worked themselves loose, whilst Colin McRae got stuck on the very last dune of the day. He lost 20 minutes. Maybe he could have won the stage without digging in the heat. Jean-Louis Schlesser stopped to help McRae, but Schlesser had a good day to be third at Dakar, fifth overall, 48 minutes behind. Hiroshi Mashioka just drove as only he knew how, flat out. He extended his overall lead to nearly 12 minutes, but that's not much in Dakar parlance. French skiing hero Luc Alphonse was annoyed. The prop shaft had broken on his diesel six-cylinder X5, but fortunately, as he tells us here, they had a spare part. He repaired it and continued on. Spain's Manuel Plaza Perez rolled it and was out. Whilst with the truck class, first was Vladimir Chagin, the reigning champion, with his Kamaz. Gerardus de Roy was chasing him hard. And as the big dunes came over the horizon, there were going to be big problems for everybody in the Dakar. It's problems enough during the daylight, but at night, it's nigh on impossible.
Bernard! L'impression que j'ai pas bon, mais...
Former truck winner Jan de Roy got through the dunes, but then his engine gave up the ghost. Whilst three-time winner René Metsch found his lost boards.
Voilà.
T'as retrouvé Bernard et les plaques.
Ouais.
Stage 8, Attar down to Tajika. Another tough stage, 355 kilometres. On board with Hiroshi Mashioka and his co-driver Gilles Picard, very politely asking him if he wanted a sweet. But soon, Mashioka lost his lead after gearbox problems. He lost over an hour. Cyril Desprez lost his lead too. He got completely lost. In fact, everybody got lost. They were trying to find a small road to get themselves out of a valley, and extreme measures were needed. North, south, east and west. It was just like Piccadilly Circus. Colin McRae found the right way, but then the car's transmission gave up the ghost.
A problem in the transmission, something's broken, and we only have the front wheels driving, but not much. And we can't move in the sand. We've tried 3 times now and it just keeps sinking, so we have to wait.
Teammate De Villiers then arrived, but he was late because he had had some electrical problems earlier in the stage. And soon they got the 2 Nissans hooked up, 6-wheel drive between 8 wheels. Nanny Roma and Richard Sank did the stage together and remained first and second overall, split by just 8 minutes after over 21 hours of running. Pal Anders Ulavasetta was the best privateer in 5th. At the head of the car field, Stefan Pederhansel made hay as others ran into trouble. His lead was now over an hour. Dominique Huzio was 5th overall and best privateer. Stage 9, the monster stage from Tajika to Neymar. It was going to be a very, very hard stage, but ruining his bad luck from the day before, Sildepré did brilliantly to win the stage, but it took him over 9.5 hours. Alfie Cox was third overall and easily within striking distance of the overall leader. Sankt was ahead of him in seconds, still nursing that injured left arm. Spain's Nani Roma lost too much time on the stage and saw his lead slip to over 3.5 minutes. On board with Stefan Saccatini, he says it's going to be so difficult for the other bikes to pass after the cars and the trucks have been through. The surface is going to be so difficult for them. People really will be arriving well into the night. Stefan Pederhansel continued to lead the rally by over an hour. He had a safe second place on the stage. But all three Nissans ran into trouble. De Villiers needed a push from McRae and Torner, Vatanen and Repo to get going. Vatanen and McRae took nearly all night to do the stage. Mashioka passed 11 cars en route to setting the fastest time. What a run from the reigning champion. On board, though, with the BMW X5 of Gregoire de Mavius, he's asking his co-driver, are we going to arrive soon at the Elephant Rocks? No, says Alain. No, not quite now. You'll see them soon. On board with Andrea Meyer, she was getting stuck in the soft sand. But soon she was back in the car, whilst co-driver Andreas Schultz gave her a push out. However, come nightfall, Meyer returned into Neymar, and her time, 10 hours, 52 minutes and 22 seconds. Eric Vigarou had a more fundamental problem, another long day in the Pro Truck. Luc Alphonse and Henri Magne were absolutely shattered.
I want to go home. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. A bath and a bed.
Continuing to head the truck class with his Kamaz, Vladimir Chagin having a rough ride. Watch the door. For the motorcycles, Nani Roma led overall, just a little ahead of Richard Sankt. South Africa's Alfie Cox poised well. Sildepré and Paul Anders Olivasetta, all within the hour. Whilst on four-wheel, Stefan Pederhansel headed his teammate Hiroshi Mashioka, Schlesser in third, De Mavius fourth, Luc Alphonse fifth. But immediately after stage 9, there was an announcement made by the organisers of the rally. Stage 10 and 11 were cancelled for security purposes. We were alerted by the authorities in Mali and in France that security was not going to be guaranteed around the town of Mopti. That goes also for the passage of the rally around that area. We've decided to cancel the next stages and to go on a road section to Bobo Dioulasso via Bamako. We can see that it's possible to do that in terms of logistics, so the next two stages are cancelled. So, with two stages cancelled, the rally goes first to Bamako, then to Bobo for the normal rest day. The next competitive stage of the Dakar will take place in 4 days' time. There's still a long way to go, though.